things that really matter to the community. Steph, you with me?
I am here.
All righty then.
So, Miss Carol, first of all, hello everybody. I was running a little late, but as women, we all got 50 million 11 things going on, but we're gonna make it do today. So, but Miss Carol, I just wanted to touch base with you on a couple of things. So, tell me, what are you thinking about this balanced, unbalanced budget that they just passed?
Steph, she just fell off for a second. She should be coming right back on.
Oh, okay. Lord.
Yeah, she'll be right back on in 1 second.
We be having phone issues. I hope I'm gonna be driving in a minute, Nick. So hopefully I don't.
Yeah, no, she was just on no telling. She probably got a call. Let me get y'all ready for the good people.
Oh, was we not even on yet?
No, y'all live.
Oh, okay.
Y'all live. I didn't put the countdown on because she was already on the radio. I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, do that. So we just waiting on the Miss Carol to come back on. Family, she should be right here any minute. Let me get the shit right quick, Steph. Since you was just at council,
Hmm.
how did you like council?
Oh, you talking about the thing with the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Oh,
I mean,
here she go. Hold on 1 second. Here she go. Let me let the queens take over. I'm out.
Y'all got me in here.
hey, Miss Carol, you back?
Yeah, I'm back, girl. You know how I do with this 10 technology system, and I got to figure this out where I can join all these things together. I was telling them about the voters registration drive that's going to be held at 117 West Flint Park on the 15th of this month from 1 to 6. If they are not registered voters, we urge them to come and get registered to vote. And if you are in the first ward, I urge you to vote for me, Carol McIntosh. I promise I won't let you down. I'll stay up on the issues, pay attention to what is important to you. Let's start with clean drinking water stuff. So the state is going to come in and they're going to finish up the pipe replacement process, which is sad. I think that the state even has to come in and do that, but that's where we are with that. Also, Stephanie, we had several other issues. Can you help me out? What else we got to talk about, girl? Because there's
Well,
so much on the floor.
this unbalanced budget that they passed.
Oh yeah, and that's starting off to be a mess already because what you don't know is this bidding in the blind or this blind budget or whatever no bid trash situation is going to run $2 million over what it should, and the taxpayers, you will be paying that. They're suggesting that they get the first 2 million out of the ARPA funds, which should be going to fix roofs, windows, furnaces, and things of that nature. It should those dollars should be hitting the communities.
It looks
And
like I need to go to the what's the name to the fixing the pipes, the infrastructure. Since they didn't have to bring the state in, the state has to come in and take over because they could to end up to figure out how to finish that.
yep. So I mean, well, first you got to want to know how to finish it, because and we got to look at this situation too with this administration, because when our head administrator was on city council, we were in a we had an emergency manager. And now that they're the head administrator, it looks like they're going to take us right back to an emergency manager. We're spending too much time with nonsense when we should be taking care of the community, the business. Last night's that meeting, well, 2 nights ago, it was a mess. We have residents being arrested, um, residents being targeted, people being accused of things they didn't do. Now they're after one lady's job, to my understanding, and she also sits on the Ethics and Accountability Board. They already were trying to get her removed because she and I often speak up on the residents' behalf. And serving the residents and standing up for the residents, that doesn't seem to be popular here lately. I don't know what's going on that is acceptable for elected people or people who should be making decisions for the community to be targeted and harassed and victimized and things of that nature. But this is out of hand. It's a violation of people's constitutional rights. It is sad when you can't go to a city council meeting and speak to your neighbor without city council members calling you out in the audience when they should be paying attention to this no bid trash contract that they voted on and approved and passed. And now, because of their lack of due diligence, that's over budget by $2 million, and they're going to take it out of the ARPA funds. The ARPA funds should have been to help you. The residents have not seen a dime of the ARPA funds. But the worst part about it is next year there will be no ARPA funds, and it will still be $2 million over. So what about that? Eventually, this decision that has been made is going to fall in the lap of the residents, which is totally unfair to me. What do you think about that stuff?
Well, it's very unfair. I mean, they did a no bid contract. Um,
I don't even know. I don't even know how they thought. I mean, they're not interested in following the law though. So I can start there. Anytime you're supposed to have a competitive bidding process, and they didn't even have a bidding process. Because my thought is this, and I'm not gonna. I don't always think that they just made a mistake and give them the benefit of the doubt, because giving them the benefit of the doubt is costing the taxpayers way too much. Okay, I'm not understanding. My thought is you've let them just bid in the blind, so that's $2 million that, I mean, you don't have anything on record. So how do you know that they're not divvying that, who everybody who voted for that, in my opinion, might be getting a cut of that? They don't like for you to say people do. Yeah, that's very likely, because how could I call myself a good steward and I've signed a contract or even agreed to a contract and I don't even know how much it's for? I bet they don't run their households like that. I bet every time they lock into a contract for themselves, they have an idea of what they're getting into. But then you sit up here and supposed to be responsible for doing the business of the city, and you're out here just yaying any old thing. You don't even know how much it costs, just yay. I mean, it sounds criminal to me. That's my thought. You think does it sound criminal to you, Steph? Does that sound
sounds
re-
very criminal to me, but I mean, we have to, as a community, we have to stop um, laying down and and just accepting ineptness and mediocrity, because that's what we got right now. It's ineptness and mediocrity, because
I
there's
think
no way that that there's no way that those things, that if you had the best interest of the city at heart, there is no way that that garbage contract should have went through.
it's a disgrace, and I'm wondering how many more times will they do that. They are literally
Or how many
running.
more times have they done it?
Well, like I said, if they'll do this in front of our face, what are they doing behind our backs? In my opinion, this is nothing but a money grab set up by some of our city council people, and God only knows who else. This is ridiculous. And then, like I said, our water bills are scheduled. They're trying to get the water bill might go up 33 to 35 more percent. Water that you can't even drink, water that we may not have any business even bathing in. We don't know what the long term effects are, and nobody's checking to see who is looking out for the community and the taxpayers.
Nobody.
It doesn't look that way, and they have Miss Tanya Burns in court right now trying to silence her. It seems to me anybody that speaks up for the community, much like how we've been done, me and Miss Billy have been done on the Ethics and Accountability Board. If you say the wrong thing or you speak up, you're a target. You're a target. If you try to stand up and do your due diligence, if you try to stand up and do right by the community, if you speak out against the thievery and the corruption, The next thing you know, and then it's my understanding that they're even talking about coming after Miss Billy's job. Something that went on at a public meeting and she's a taxpayer, you feel like you have the right to attack her finances. But then a lot of this goes on as well is because in that budget, they don't even have a budget balance, but they want to vote for that. We need to look at these judges. And then what went on? Do you know what happened today in court concerning Miss Tanya?
Yes. What happened today? It hasn't. It kind of got kicked. The can kind of got kicked down the road. Basically the judge was saying that he wanted another opinion to verify his decision. So he removed the stay that allows them, that banned them from trying to do it again to her. So I fully expect at the next meeting for her to be given a 90-day suspension.
Okay, so basically the judge ain't sure about his ruling,
Mm-hmm.
but then just in case, he's gonna roll with the nonsense and silence a whole ward
So
again.
he kicked the can down the road, put it to the appellate court. But in the meantime, his order he could have kept his order in place, but he didn't. He let her order. I mean, he let them be able to do what they want to do. So at this point, she can possibly uh they
So
can
his
possibly try to put her off again.
so his ruling wasn't popular with the powers that be, so he's changing his mind. Is
Right.
what it sounds like to me. I won't accuse him of anything, but if I have to be a critical thinker, me being a critical thinker, that don't sound right. Why would I change my mind on something I've already ruled on, but I'm not even sure about changing my mind? But just in case, I'm going to change it and let them have free willy nilly to silence the community.
Well,
And then this is the sad thing when you take this stuff outside of Flint and you take it to the other courts, the appeal courts and stuff. These judges, they're ruled just like Miss Sharice with our one thing. We took it and it ended up being case study law. Okay. But then you bring it back to Genesee County, it's a winning case. But you take it to the higher ups and it's a losing case. What is wrong with our judges? I'm starting to wonder about everything about Genesee County works against the taxpayers and the residents, it appears. You can do anything to the citizens, but yet the citizens have no rights. It's almost like we're living in a dictatorship, and it's disgusting.
well,
This is
the
absolutely
residents have to
disgusting.
start speaking up and stuff. That courtroom, although there were quite a few people there, that courtroom should have been packed.
Well, I wasn't there because I was at work, which I don't know if because I got to stay away because I'll be in jail or in trouble. And we're at 514 on the 1420 side. I want you guys to keep your eyes and ears open and pay attention to what is going on with your democratic process and your constitutional rights. I want you to understand that you are being violated when they silence a city council person just for kicks unlawfully. You the residents, because that means your city council person doesn't get to vote on your behalf. That means this corruption that's coming down the pipe when they remove Eric Mays and Tanya Burns and Jerry Winfrey Carter and harasses Don Pfeiffer so badly to it's in his best interest not to show up. They are violating you as a resident. They are disrespecting your vote. They are disrespecting your voice. Okay, they are rendering you unrepresented, and it is not right. Okay, it's 515 on the 1420 side. My name is Carol McIntosh. I am running for the First Ward City Council seat. I am the only name on the ballot that has ever operated on behalf of the people, voted in by the people. I need your support. I do have a proven track record. Standing up for the community is what I do. And I need you and I appreciate your support. And as always, thank you for joining me this Friday. It has been an amazing experience as always. And you can also log in, jump on Facebook and log in and go to 810 News Media Group. That's on Facebook and YouTube if you want to continue the conversation. Thank you so much for lending me your ear. Love somebody, love yourself. And until next week, you have a good Friday, and I'll see you again. Peace. You've been listening to a community. Yeah, so it's just a disgrace. It's and then this is the thing, when this is all said and done and they violated our rights and ran the city in the ground, what is the corrective process? Or do they know that it's going to be too late probably if we're handed over to the emergency managers? And then like I was saying on an interview, rent at in our apartment in Texas is up to $2,200. It's been said that they're trying to turn Flint into a renter's town. Can you afford these new rent prices? And maybe that's why you can't get any service. Maybe that's why your administrators are not interested in your poison water. They're more interested in harassing residents when they come to the meeting. Because if you're not going along with their lying, cheating, and stealing, you're a target. Okay? And it's pathetic. It is so sad. All of the processes in Genesee County um, are appearing to be unscrupulous. It's so sad. It's like the laws fell asleep at the wheel. So I just hope that we're not too late. I hope that it's not too late. I hope that we can get back on the right track. I hope that we are going to find ourselves being properly represented at some point before we're taken over by an emergency management situation. I do know that, and I want to get this right, and I need to pull up my notes. But anyway, the bottom line is this: we're operating outside of a physically responsible financial budget. Okay, um, the bills are far bigger than what the financial allotments are, which means you're running in a deficit. And when you're running in a deficit, we've got to understand things are not free because we're the city of Flint. We have to pay those bills. And when you elect somebody, they have to do their math. You can't be voting for stuff that you don't have money for. And you can't just assume you're going to throw it off on the taxpayers, because the taxpayers do get a vote on some of these things. They don't necessarily have to say yay, but then it puts you in an emergency manager situation. So I didn't think that was where we were trying to be, but apparently maybe it is. Maybe some of us don't quite understand that this is where we're ultimately destined to find ourselves. I think it is sad that we have everybody that we need, a whole administration. The administration has their whole team. We have a city council, but yet all of these people who have these great looking resumes and say they're this and they're that can't even balance a budget. Don't even have sense enough to know that you need to see the numbers before you yay something. That's just being responsible as an adult, period. I mean, you don't have to be on the city council or on any board to know that if I have $10, I can't vote for something for $35. I mean, where do they do that at? And how come Flint can't seem to get it together? How come all these other cities can be physically responsible, can have meetings without their residents being harassed by the police? It is a violation of your constitutional rights when you go to a public meeting in a public forum, and if you speak to your neighbor, the city council, who can't vote on who doesn't have sense enough to even balance the budget, to get the finances in order, or to work with the head administrators and get these things in check and then bring it back responsibly. They don't have sense enough to do that, but they're ready to get some residents locked up. They're ready to chastise you for speaking to your neighbor. They're ready to come for your job. I mean, and I try not to go too hard on individuals, but Miss Liddell Lewis was here about 3 years before she was elected to that position, and look at the havoc she is wreaking on our city. And just like she showed up 3 years ago, when this is all over, I get the feeling she's going to be packing her bags and moving on out. I mean, because It's just sad. That's the best that I can that's the best that I can tell you. And it's irresponsible. It's just not fair to the residents. It's mind blowing. So now we have Miss Burns, who was on the fence. And she's one of the head advocates ever since we lost Mr. Mays, who was my mentor, who appointed me to the Ethics and Accountability Board. Um, Ever since he's been gone, it's like they're just knocking them down one by one. So now they figured they've got rid of Mr. Mays and they've silenced him, and now they're coming for Miss Burns. If Miss Burns is not there, who's going to be the loud voice in the room that says, "Hey, you can't treat us that way. Hey, this budget isn't balanced. Hey, you can't do a no bid contract." Who will speak up for us? Because me, as a taxpayer, I don't want a bunch of people sitting up there pretending to be intelligent and so classy, but yet you're running the city in the ground and you can't handle the business. Um, it's so sad, and it's so sad that these ARPA dollars have not made it to any of the residents. Like I always say, Flint, Saginaw, Detroit, everybody else can get their money that's been allocated to the residents, can get the help that they need, but we always have an issue. Like we still haven't got the water crisis money. We still have 10 years in on a water crisis. We have residents that can't even go to public meetings in a public forum and express their dismay with their leadership without going to jail. And I don't understand who would think that this type of behavior is acceptable. Who would think that that is lawful? How could you possibly believe that you have a right to tell grown people in a public meeting that they can't speak to their neighbors or they can't get up and move about in the audience? Because how is that bothering you? If you're looking at your documents and if you're doing your due diligence and you're doing your homework, how is it that you can see people talking to their neighbors, people that you target week after week after week too? These people that were targeted in this last meeting, this isn't the first. It's harassment, it's bullying, it's intimidation, it's a violation of the Constitution. You have a right for peaceful assembly, for one. You have a right for peaceful protest. Okay. You have every right to speak out when you're not happy with your local government. Who is giving these people the authority to override the Constitution? And then they pass some resolution uh, or something that they can do these things. I don't care what resolution you pass. There is no resolution you can pass that overrides the law. That's what we as residents have to understand. Their authority is not that great that they can just say, we're going to pass a resolution. We don't have to follow we don't have to follow the Constitution. And I do believe that's a First Amendment right. We don't have to go along with the law. We're going to change it and we're going to do it our way. It's already been stated, in order to remove a voted elected official, the government has to do that or it has to be a recall. But yet here we are allowing unlawful people who have proven themselves to be unlawful. Because let's not forget, Miss Liddell Lewis got some of that Ashley Capital money. Okay. It wasn't just Quincy Murphy who got a new lawnmower. She managed to get her hands on a few of those dollars as well. So now Miss Burns exposed that. And now she's being retaliated against and targeted. And that's all that it comes down to, is she's being targeted. And it is so disgusting. Okay, I was just speaking about how this comes down to retaliation because Miss Burns does an amazing podcast and she often has the receipts to go with her conversation. And in my opinion, she's being targeted. Mr. Mays was first, and me and Mr. Mays would stay on the phone talking for hours. And he couldn't believe it. Nobody can believe it when these things happen to him, because only in Genesee County, which tells me something about our legal system. Okay, we have to think about holding these judges responsible who are pretending like they don't know what the law is, and these attorneys. Okay, who so willfully violate people's rights. And how many people are in jail that don't deserve to be there?
Well, if I
Do,
was going to have if I had a legal problem that had some political affiliation or ramifications or anything like that, I would most definitely not get an attorney out of Genesee County, because you're just setting yourself up for failure. They're all, I hate to say it, and because there there are some attorneys that I'm not going to say that they're not good attorneys, but they get scared or they're boxed in the corner because of the political ramifications on their behalf if they get involved. So I
right.
mean, look at the situation with the Mitchell boys, where the attorney told them to hold off until after the election before they file a case. I mean, that's
Lord
just
have mercy. I
how do
mean,
you
it,
tell a mother that lost her two children that they need to wait? I mean, for anything. So around here, um, Tanya's attorney had a very good a good argument. The other attorney was he got a little angry and a little animated at one point. Attorney Kim did what he does best and not say nothing, which that was probably one of the smartest things that he's done. The only thing, so we made, I mean, there was a an argument made towards the end that, you know, by him not, by the judge not putting by lifting the stay, that essentially they're giving them the go ahead to put them out for 30 days. And he said, Attorney Kim said, I don't have any basically he was like, I don't have anything to do with that. I can that's between the council. But we all know he's probably sitting there writing the brief now, or you know, or whatever, the
yeah.
resolution now.
And let's follow, but keep in mind, let's follow those dollars while all of this is going on, because a lot of this is meant to be distractions for the
It's
community. So
absolutely distractions. It's absolutely the enemy of progress is chaos, and
yeah,
we have been in um
total
eternal
chaos.
chaos. We've been in eternal chaos for 1, 2, 3, 4. It's at least 4 years now.
hmm And they were blaming all of this nonsense on Eric Mays. You know, he was trying to get affordable housing at one point through either HUD or either the land bank. He was coming up with a process and he almost had it done. And that was the thing. Anytime he tried to do anything for the community, they attacked him at the city council table. Okay. They tried to act like he was a drunk and he was this and he was that. The man was standing up for what is right and trying to do public service work. And he wasn't allowed to do that because he wasn't a go along to get along. He's the one who appointed me to the Ethics and Accountability Board. And he didn't play. He didn't play. Okay.
The
And he
quickest
let
way
me
to discredit some, the quickest way to they try to discredit. They tried to discredit him like that. Just like if you ever notice, if they're trying to discredit a woman, they the first thing they do is they try to come for her. You know,
get in her bed, don't they?
yeah, that
Yeah.
she's sleeping around. You know, I see so many tricks being played in this
Especially
political
now I'm going to
arena.
say this too, especially a black woman. The first thing they do
Oh
is
yeah.
attack our virtue. Oh, you don't know her. She do this, and they always talking about what you do that nobody else has ever seen you done. Has never been
Yeah,
done
but I'm like, so
before.
how did you get this information if ain't nobody else seen it? And how did you find out? How was you so?
And they can get all that information, but they don't know that these bids are going on and all this
Mhm.
corruption and stealing is going on. They don't know nothing about that, but they
No,
know
no,
every
no.
plan.
They know who's sleeping with who and all that. So it just, you know what, I looked at that last council meeting and I was sad. Um,
Right.
the residents are being very disenfranchised.
Absolutely. That's
It
what it's really all about.
yeah.
Distracting the residents while they steal everything and take all the ARPA funds and leave us in disarray. And then they don't have to get back elected because they're going to run it in the ground, and it's going to be no reason to sit in those seats because you're going to have the state dictating and regulating what
Mhm.
goes on. And
Or
I'm
you're
just trying
gonna
to.
have somebody else cleaning up your mess. You left a mess and then you'll clean it up. They what see what you feel also what you fail to realize is too, you got that group of leaders up there, and we'll just call it out there. Say for instance, number two, I'm not gonna say her name, but number two gets
Oh, I'm
recalled
already
or gets
saying that.
voted out or whatever.
Hmm.
She gets if she gets recalled or whatever, she's made enough
Yes.
connections and stuff within the state and within this area right now. She'll land on her feet. You'll look up and she'll be over one of these foundations. We know she you know she knows about the 501c3s, you know,
Yeah,
so
because she's got some of those ARPA funds in her 501c3, didn't she? Whether
yeah,
she wanted to see, so they don't need to come back. They don't need to get
no, they'll
revoted in
like I
because
said,
they got paid and got rich this time.
look at her
So,
brother. She got a nice cushy six-figure job out of being in on city council. So I
but
mean, if they
but
do, they can go.
you know who never gets these big cushy jobs though when they leave city council? People that stand up for the community. You never hear about like, like Eric Mays. They literally had him financially destitute. Okay, that
Mhm.
was by design so that he couldn't work and be functioning fully for you and I. So he could be stressed out about his personal situation and couldn't address the public service work. Okay, me and him often talked about how he had to pay back all that money. I think it was 40 some $1,000, and they were literally taking his city council check for that. So when he came up with the look, when the well, he didn't come up with it. When somebody else got him put on by TikTok, then they came for him for that. But they can never see anything that anybody else is doing. Only what Eric Mays was doing. Okay, he pawned his laptop. Okay, but what about all these people that's been flat out stealing? How come you
Okay,
get?
first
I
of all,
mean,
how long ago did he pawn his laptop?
girl, and the thing was so outdated and old and raggedy. And like he told him, at least he knew where it was because people was breaking in City Hall. Still, people was
Oh,
in City Hall stealing stuff.
right. So I mean, not saying that it was right or wrong that he pawned it, but I'm just saying he did that. So
My
what you got
question is
that?
this.
What did he do? What did he do recently? Did I mean all
My
of
question is this. My question is this. How come they knew every move he made, everything he ever done since he was a baby, but they don't know anything else that anybody else is doing? They didn't know that we were being poisoned. You had city council people talking about the water tastes fresh to them and all this, and then turned around and benefited from you being poisoned. What was those KW hooked up with KWI or A or whoever them people? They don't never know none of that, but they know everything somebody that is trying to help the community is doing wrong. And we have some more talking points because we get fired up and oh Lord, we be like,
it? Well, we talked about the budget. We talked about your relationship with Eric with Councilman the Honorable
and it
Councilman.
was a good relationship too because we held each other accountable. We cussed each other out, but when it was time to talk and take care of business, he called me right up. Miss McIntosh, we got so, and he thought he was the baby that three-way calling. He was the king of that. I'd be on the phone with everybody. I'm telling you, all across the country, all across the nation, we be talking to. I'm gonna click you in. I got a call coming in from California. Oh, he loved that three-way. So
He was a fun person, and I remember a couple of times when just being around you guys, he always treated me just like he and
yeah.
y'all got cussed out. I got cussed out too.
He ain't meet no strangers. If,
No,
if if he took you under his wing and dealt with you or hung out with you, he didn't meet no strangers. I'm
yeah,
telling you.
what you standing over there not saying nothing? You don't think I get you too?
Right. Won't he tell you? I see you over there trying to lay low. Oh
You
man.
tried to
And I
lay
like and this is what he used to say when he was talking about a woman. If he had a girlfriend or yeah, I dealt with her for a minute. He killed me with that
yeah,
talking about he dealt with somebody.
he had a lot of dealt with, so
Yeah, I had
I was surprised.
I used to deal with her back in the day, so I miss him because a lot of this that's going on, he would be exposing, and
Yeah,
even if he wasn't in his seat, he would be letting us know what was up and putting
yeah,
us
he
up
would
on
be.
our toes. And I miss that because
It
he
would.
definitely kept me in line. So
You know
now,
what? I would hear people complaining about him with the point of orders and the point of informations and stuff like that. But Eric was actually pretty diabolical with that, with the points of orders and points of information. Because when he was doing that stuff, he was getting dialogue out there that needed to be that they were trying to silence him about. That
absolutely,
he
absolutely.
knew exactly what he was doing, and people were like, "He's prolonging the meeting." No, he was trying to give you information that you needed, that they
Mhm.
were trying to hide from you, and that they weren't trying to get for you.
Yes, and he was a master with his Robert's rules of order.
Mhm.
And he, like I said, he put me on my toes. I mean, I have so many stories that I could share with you about Mr. Mays, and God, I miss him because, like I said, all this that's going on, he put you all the way up on game, baby. He'd be exposing first of all that no bid contract mess. He'd have went to jail 25,000 times before he would have let that
Oh
happen.
yeah,
They'd have
definitely.
yeah, they'd have to throw him out clean to Timbuktu to get him not to go berserk about that. So
And when they was walking him out in the handcuffs, he still have been talking about that contract. There's no bid contract. Y'all don't vote for that. Don't let him do it. Don't let him. So,
he
yeah,
would have.
Mays was one of a kind. And you know what? You look at what they have in the seat now. He's a yes man. He
Um,
doesn't say anything. And I'm saying these are the views of Stephanie Rogers, not Carol McIntosh. Or A1, or as where Mickey at A10 Media. They're not the views of A10 Media. They're mine.
right.
Mick ain't got to get off the plane. Um, but he doesn't say anything. He goes along with whatever the rubber stamping. I think the councilman in the ninth ward, Jared, has come out, and it looks like he may be trying to speak up a little bit more, because he kind of is like, I ain't about to let this new dude outshine me. But the vest, it just doesn't really say a whole lot. He's he slumps down in his seat and don't really say a lot, and seconds the vote, and he seconds a lot of votes, and goes rubber
Yeah.
stamps a lot of stuff, and his power move is, if he know it's some foolishness, he'll abstain. And it's
And
like,
and I think you should have, if you're going to sit in that seat. I haven't seen him do that, but I am going to speak to what you said. If you are abstaining from something, I think that it needs to be a conflict. I don't think you should sit in those seats and just abstain because you don't want to deal with certain issues, or you don't
mhm,
want to get on somebody's bad side, or you don't want to fall out with your buddy. Um, I think you are put there to make tough decisions. And I think if you want that seat, then you have to have the heart to make them. I do understand the position he's in. He's new in that seat. I don't know if he fully even understands what be going on because it'd be a lot going on. So maybe that's why he's so quiet, because if you don't know, then close your mouth. I'm not making excuses for him, but the problem I have with that is that we're coming off of great leadership, and to have less than or mediocre leadership, or somebody who is afraid to fight the powers that be, or somebody that is afraid to stand alone, in my opinion, and I'm not speaking just on the councilman in the first ward, I'm speaking in general, period. I think that that is a disservice to the voters. If you are afraid to speak up, to stand alone, to do what you know is right, to represent your people, because when you abstain, that means your ward did not participate in the vote. And that is what you're there for, to
You
represent
stayed in
the
the vote.
people. Right. You have to involve yourself in the process. To just say, I'm not going to get involved, is a disservice in my opinion. Like I said, I haven't seen them do that because I've been laying low, because I'm trying not to go to jail or get no stink on my name, because people love to pull you down and pull you into mess. And I don't have time for that, because it's real work that needs to be done. And that's what I'm trying to get to, the real work. Like I said, it doesn't matter where I sit. I'm going to represent my community always when it comes to a public capacity, dealing with public issues and things of that nature. So that's where you'll always find me when it comes to public service and standing up for the community. What else we got on their stuff? That's a shame though. Lord have mercy. I mean, it's just appalling. It's appalling. But what I am
Especially
happy
coming off
about,
of what we had.
oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna be honest, and I do hope to obtain that seat, but I said this often about Mr. Mays. His public service was second to none. That's just the bottom line. I've never seen anybody do it like he does, like he did. I mean, he was totally in tune with the community, his constituents, as he said. I mean, he was just there for the community, and he was a great leader, and I think he was a great example, and I think he will be missed for decades behind that. So
Carol, one of the talking points that we had discussed that we wanted to go over, and I
I
didn't.
know. And
We
I
didn't
need
go.
listen. And I wanna pull them up because I have them in my
Oh, I
notes on
pulled
my
them up because
phone.
I can't remember anymore. So
But I'm scared to pull them up because then I'll leave the chat.
well,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I got on
So
my I got on my laptop because my phone kept acting up. But so back to the budget. I wanted to discuss this. The city pension plan. So it's underfunded. And we received $170 million. And remember that big announcement that they made that we were supposed to have the whole 220 some million or whatever?
yes. So now some of that money, bottom line, some money is missing out of darn near every pot. Ain't nothing what it's supposed to be.
Well, this right here is interesting to me because um someone was saying that it's funded. Basically, they didn't fund it as much as we were told that they were funding it at. They basically were like, hold up, we just going basically they funded it enough so that we're not in trouble, because it needs to, I think it needs to be at 60 or 80% funded or something like that. So
Well, what, like you said, what they did is kick the can down the road, and what they did was deceive the community and pretend like they had done the work when they actually had not. Okay, and that's why I said, all it sounds like everything is not what it should be. It sounds like um, there's conflict with the numbers on every level.
mhm.
Um, and I just wonder how does some of these administrators think they should go to another level when you can't handle the level you own. You can't do the most basic of things. Plus and minus. That's what budgeting is. Adding and subtracting.
Well,
You have to have,
you
go
know, I
ahead.
look at the little CFO that comes up there at every meeting, and God bless him. I hope he does know that when all of this shakes out, he's gonna be the fall guy, because he absolutely knows nothing. When he comes up there, I heard him at one point at one of the meetings. He didn't have he didn't have the figures, and Judy had some figures, and who trusts Judy and her figures now? And they were and he's like, oh, well, we'll just go with yours. How do you just go with hers? And she's
And he getting a whole check for
yeah,
that.
he's getting paid six figures for this.
Well,
I'm like, yeah,
well,
at least the truck driver lady, I had respect for her, because if she didn't know, she just said she didn't know.
and that's what you're supposed to do. And then go back to the drawing board and find out. See, everybody want to pretend like they got it when they don't have it.
Yeah, but
So
he'll say he's gonna come back with it the next week, and then he doesn't come back with anything. So I'm like, who are you working for? Because clearly at this point, somebody is telling him, hey, don't worry about that. You ain't got to do that.
Well,
Don't worry
well,
about that.
I would tell you why you wouldn't have to do that and why you wouldn't have to worry about that. Because you're going to be taken over by the state and they'll be handling it from here. That's what it
Exactly.
sounds like.
You're
We're
exactly
being ushered back into state regulation and emergency management.
well, you see it coming now. I mean, look at this ACO order that they've taken over the well, not the ACO order. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up two things. But the water replacement, they've taken back over that. And then recently, I just today we found out that there's been a recall for Quincy Murphy.
Okay.
That they've submitted 71 pages of signatures for Quincy.
Oh, good. That's
And
wonderful.
the county clerk, not the city clerk's office, the county clerk's office is normally supposed to collect the signatures and then record them or certify them and then, well, not certify them, but they record how many
Right. We're turned in and how
turned
many sheets
in
and all.
sheets and all that, and then they send it over
Mm-hmm.
to the clerk's office. Well, they
Mm-hmm.
issued a statement today saying that they're not doing that this time, that he's going to handle it.
Oh,
And
well.
what that and how to so that came from Jocelyn Benson. It had to have that came from higher up. That didn't come from
Yep.
somebody around here. That came from
Exactly.
the Secretary of State's office or the AG's office that he's taken since he's taken over that. Now he didn't say who, you know, told him
Right.
that he had to do that or whatever. I think we're all educated and smart enough to know that last debacle that they had where they lost the six pages and that they never were found. Had he not made copies of those 6 pages, they just would have been farts in the wind.
I
So
mean, well, that's how it seems the city is operating now. Just they're just winging it from day to day and collecting checks. It's so sad, but even more disappointing is that there is no accountability for them.
no accountability at all. There was no accountability for those six papers being and let's six papers being missing. And let's be clear. I know
And we forgot about the conservative. We forgot about the conservatorship situation where we have those 17 things that the city is supposed to do mandatory.
oh
That's been
yeah.
handed out, and we don't have any dollars for that. And
No,
these are things. These aren't optional things. These are things that have to be done. Thus said, like you said, the state or somebody higher up, and we have $0 to do one of them, let alone 17 of them.
we don't have the money to do them or pay the fine for not doing them. We don't have either one.
And the sad part is our head leaders don't seem to be concerned about. I mean, so they don't care.
It's not their
Like I said,
money. It's our
yeah, and
money.
yeah,
They'll just
and we're
raise
gonna be the ones,
whoever.
and we're yeah, with the taxpayers, we're gonna be the ones that have to make up for that. You're gonna be paying taxes like you in Beverly Hills, living in the flat out hood. You know,
Well, it's gonna price some people out. That's what, and that
and
I
that is
believe
by
that's been
design.
by the goal. It's gonna
That is
price
by
some people out.
design.
You look at certain areas of Flint right now, and you see the gentrification. I was coming down Welch Boulevard a couple of days ago, and I was between Martin Luther King and I think where's that runs right there by Cook School. What's that? Is that Mason that runs across?
Yeah, Mason. Then go down and you have DuPont. Then you cross over and you have Chevrolet Avenue.
Well,
But going back,
that Mason area, that Martin Luther King, the Mason area, has some of those nice, big, old, beautiful homes down there. Those homes that I think like some of the leaders and I know growing up, like there was some doctors that lived over there. I believe
and
Charles.
those should be historical sites and
If you
homes
look
and
over
stuff.
there, yep, I believe Charles Green used to live there. Remember from Green Homes for Funerals? There was a lot
Yeah,
of people that used to live that were affluent people that lived over in that area, and it hit hard times. But if you go through that area now, and it's no disrespect to any of our
Right. The truth
Caucasian
is the
people,
truth. Right. The truth is
but
the truth.
we had that area. If you go through that area now, there are hardly any. You gotta, instead of counting the Caucasian people, you count the black people that's left. If there's nobody that I I mean, I saw somebody walking their dog over there, and I was cracking up because I was like, you wouldn't have never saw that like 10 years ago, which
Well, I tell you
not a
what,
bad thing because they're fixing.
whatever is going on, yeah. I tell you what, whatever is going on, some people know about it. We don't know about it. It is a plan because
Mhm.
you can't get me to believe these type of people are moving back into the community in the state that we are in, and they don't know something.
Well, you have to take into account too that they're trying to turn this into a college town. So if I
Yeah,
get some so if I get a professor or some talent from, I don't know, we pull somebody from we'll just say randomly, just anywhere from the East Coast.
right,
I used to live on the East Coast before I moved back here, and
right,
the expenses on the East Coast are ridiculous. A house here that is probably $50,000 or $60,000 is easily $200,000 to $300,000,
right,
and it's and I'm talking about, this is a small house, small brick house with maybe 2 or 3 bedrooms and maybe 2 baths, maybe.
right, right,
That would be $300,000 there. So
right.
you come here. So say I'm Mr. or Mrs. Professor, and I move here, and I move into the area, and I'm teaching at Kettering, or I'm teaching at U of M Flint, and I'm coming from the East Coast. So I sell my house. I sell my $400,000 or $500,000 house. I come here,
And can live like a king or a queen.
queen, for I can buy a $30,000 house, fix it up. Me and the hubby got us some DIY projects. So we bonding, and we together. We bring the dog in the house and the kid, and maybe rent something for like 6 months or whatever until we get the house straightened out. And then we come in here and we got this big, beautiful 5 bedroom house that.
And don't forget about the fact that you can take $100,000 and buy, if you don't live in Flint, you can
Mhm.
take $20,000 or $30,000 and buy a whole block if you don't live here.
Yeah,
Now,
you
if
can get
you from the
you can
land
get
bank
the
now, but if
land.
you live here,
You
you
can't.
can't buy nothing. Your money
Mhm.
ain't no good.
Nope.
So we've been having issues with that for decades with this land bank situation. And
I
now they
have.
got these old dilapidated ran down houses. That's what they're promoting, for us to buy. And they want to tell you, when you can't see a nice house and say, I think I want that one, and go file your paperwork. You got to
Mhm.
get this bottom of the scum that they want you to have, that's gonna
That
cost
they
you
didn't that they didn't that they didn't set up and let all of the pipes get stolen out of it and all of
and
that
the furnace and let the roof fall in.
stuff.
Oh, now you can buy this one for $1,200. Well, I tried to
Mhm.
buy it 12 years ago and you wouldn't even respond to me.
My girlfriend has a house, and her and I were talking. She has it's a lot next door to her house because she's living in a house that her grandparents had, and when they
Right,
passed away, she got the house. So she's living in the house, and they have there's a lot next door to hers. There's 2 lots. The 2 adjoining house lots next door to hers are available, and then there's a lot across the street. Well, she's like, I'm good. She got a boo or whatever that's gonna help
right,
her keep everything up and all that stuff.
right.
So she went down there, and they would not let. I mean, when I tell you she got the funky 2 step, she got the funky 2 step. When trying to
Yes.
get that, they would not give her the information to get the house. So then she calls me and tells me, like, a week ago, she was like, "Hey, do you know somebody bought the land across the street?" And I was like, "Well, how did they knew that you, so how?" And she was like, "There's some people over there, lighter hue than us, that are over there, and I don't know what they're
Well,
gonna
let me
do. They're
say
talking
this.
about putting a tiny house on there or something."
Right. Well, see, that's where Fred Robinson got famous around here with the housing situation. Okay, that's how
Mhm.
Fred Robinson became so well known in our community, because this isn't new in Flint. I tried to buy some lots across the street from me, and the land bank told me no. Why not? I got my money. Why? They've decided that you can't have it, but somebody else that has never paid taxes in our city can get
Mhm.
right up, get right in touch with them and buy everything their heart desires.
And I'm like, well, what are the rules, or what are the, like?
Whatever the rules are, they don't apply to us.
Yeah,
And
they
that's the
don't apply
problem. It doesn't matter what kind of rules they got in place. They do what they want to do, from the courts, the judicial and the court system, to political scene. I mean, like I said, these old puff daddy politics where the rules don't apply to everybody. They only apply to a few somebodies, you know. It depends on how they want to do you in, if the rules apply to you. Like I said, Mr. Mays, he had to walk a fine chalk line. He couldn't break wind unless he was on lunch. And, it was just ridiculous. But you got these other people, outsiders. You got Miss Liddell standing up over Mr. Pfeiffer in a meeting, bullying him and challenging him. And the law said nothing. Attorney Kim said nothing. Nobody said anything yet. That's
Remember, look at all
accepted.
the times when Eva stood over Tanya,
Yeah, but then if
and
somebody.
taunted Tanya, taunted her, told her to come on.
Yeah, because when you stand up, if you defend yourself, then I'm gonna sick the law on you, and I'm gonna call you all kind of racist, and you did this and you did that. How dare you stand up to me and stand up for yourself? They know that the law is with their nonsense. So
And then
I'm
we're not
thinking,
gonna forget, you gotta teach people how to treat you. I'm like, what? Just it's
I
just so juvenile.
it is, and it's a disgrace, and it's sad that adults are conducting themselves like that. Like I always say, if Flint wasn't so full of petty Freddies and petty Bettys, this could be a black money making mecca, and white people welcome too. But
And it was
and
at
that
one time. Mm.
yeah, and that's why they're setting you up now, because they don't want you to come back. They don't want that. They want
Mhm.
to keep they foot, and then they use people that look like us against us, and they be so glad to sign up. And
You
that's
know
our
what was
problem.
discouraging
It's
to me?
always somebody that looks like us that wants to be in charge of cracking the whip.
You know what's discouraging to me? I look
Yes,
at those city council meetings, and I look at them. I don't go because I feel like sometimes you get PTSD if
right.
I have to like temper how I go. But
It's
I
5:58 stuff. Go ahead.
but I just looked at the soldiers that we have down there. We have AC Dumas, who goes down there every week.
Right.
Miss Elizabeth, the beautiful Miss Elizabeth Taylor, and
Yes.
the beautiful Claire McClendon. They all are down there every week. They say, "Poor Claire McClendon, she been asking for $16 million for a year, and they still ain't paid her no attention. They just do it."
Because she gonna be then tried to do something for somebody in the community. They cannot have this local government working for the residents. And that is why we have the people that we have in place now. Okay? Because they don't intend for us to ever be represented. And it's so sad. But anyway, we're gonna get ready to wrap up.
Okay,
Um,
you got 1 18, but I'm sorry, a minute and 30 seconds, basically.
okay, I want to say my name is Carol McIntosh. I am running for your first ward city council seat. I am the only person running for that seat that has ever been elected to a elected position by the people for the people, and I am the only one with a proven track record. You can see my work on YouTube representing the community all the time, because that is what I do. I didn't just start doing that. You can look at your school board meetings or your ethics and accountability board meetings to see where I stand. I stand with the community. I stand for the community, and that is who I work for. If you elect me, I will represent you and I will do you proud. Again, my name is Carol McIntosh, and you have been listening to a community conversation. Thank you for joining us. This has been an amazing Friday, and we look forward to seeing you. And don't forget about that voters registration drive that will be held on June 15th from 1 to 6 o'clock at 117 West Flint Park. at Uptown Square, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you. It doesn't matter if you're a felon, it doesn't matter if you're on probation or what you've done. If you are a resident in our fine city, you have the right to vote. Again, my name is Carol McIntosh, and I would appreciate your support if you live in the First Ward. Thank you so much. And again, thank you to my co host, Miss Stephanie Rogers. You'd like to say anything, Steph?
Remember, it's not political, it's not personal, it's public service.
Yes, it is. And we thank you for joining us. See us again next Friday at the same time to play at same place. This has been a community conversation. Good evening. We out. Peace.